afternoon, welcome to Hilton Park, Leigh, for today's Stones Bitter clash between Leigh and Warrington. Leigh, who are struggling at the bottom of the First Division, will be looking for 2 points in their bid to ensure First Division football next season, whilst Warrington will be looking to put in a good performance after last Friday's rather disappointing show against Widnes at Wilderspool. Today's sides for Leigh: number 1, Chris Johnson; number 2, Neil McCulloch; number 3, John Kerr; number 4, Ian Jeffrey; number 5, Mike Round; number 6, David Ruane; number 7, Steve Peters; number 8, Adrian Erner; number 9, Carl Webb; number 10, Tony Cottrell; number 11, Brian Dunn; number 12, Andy Collier; number 13, Harry Pinner. The substitutes for Leigh today are number 14, Phil Johnson; number 15, Mark Cooper. Warrington: number 1, David Lyon; number 2, Joe Rapati; number 3, Paul Cullen; number 4, Barry Peters; number 5, Mark Foster; number 6 is John Woods; number 7, Martin Crompton; number 8, Kevin Tamati; number 9, John Thursfield, making his debut today; number 10, Tony Humphreys; number 11, Gary Sanderson; number 12, Mark Knight; and number 13, Billy McGinty. Today's substitutes for Warrington are number 14, Robert Turner; and number 15, Neil Harmon. Today's referee is Mr Haig from Leeds, and his touch judges are Mr Brown and Mr Campbell. And John Wood starts the game. And Carl Webb, playing against his former club, transferred to Leigh just over a week ago. Peters to Pinner. Brian Dunn. Comes back to Chris Johnson and straight away puts the ball down to David Lyon. Warrington appear to have the wind at their backs in this first half, playing from right to left. And David Lyon takes play to almost to the halfway line. Thursfield, his first touch of the ball onto Kevin Tamati. Tamati takes play into the Leigh half. So he's finally tackled by Collier and by Erner. Thursfield to Crompton, Crompton to Woods. Woods short ball to Knight. He's tackled by Harry Pinner and by Steve Peters. Peters playing against one of his former clubs here. Billy McGinty. Tackled by another ex-Warrington player, John Kerr. It goes back to John Woods, and the kick for touch is trapped by McCulloch. McCulloch runs across field. He's half stopped by Gary Sanderson. And finally tackled by John Thursfield. Peters to Pinner. Pinner to Erner. Erner. He's tackled by Humphreys and by Thursfield. Loses the ball in the tackle. Play on, says the referee. It's picked up by Collier, and 6 more tackles. Webb to Ruane. Ruane, long ball out to Jeffrey. So he's well tackled by Paul Cullen. Peters to Brian Dunn. He's tackled by Humphreys and by Thursfield. Dunn plays the ball to himself. Again, Thursfield does the tackling, the help of Kevin Tamati. Peters to Cottrell. Cottrell breaks the tackle now. Cottrell takes on Martin Crompton. She's well tackled by Crompton and by David Lyon. 6 tackle to Leigh. Webb to Peters. Peters to Pinner. Pinner. Short ball to Ruane. Ruane. But he's well held by Barry Peters. And it's 6 tackle in the turnover to Warrington. Knight up the blind side to Sanderson. Sanderson makes good ground before being tackled by Harry Pinner and by Adrian Erner. Thursfield to Crompton. On to Woods. Woods misses out Tamati to McGinty. McGinty almost evades the tackle of Andy Collier. Cullen. Again, Collier doing the tackling with the help of Steve Peters. Tamati to Woods. Woods on the run around with Crompton. Short ball to Knight. Knight knocks off Pinner. Tries to get the ball away in the tackle. Knock on, says the referee. There'll be a scrum down. First scrum of the afternoon. This will be a test for the Warrington hooker today, John Thursfield. Loose arm against John Thursfield. So the first penalty of the afternoon goes to Leigh. And it's Chris Johnson to try and put the ball into this near touchline. She does safely. Just inside the Warrington 25 now. Carl Webb to restart play. On to Erner. He's tackled by Humphries and by Thursfield. Webb attacked in half-back. Misses out Collier to Peters. Peters to Pinner. Pinner dummies, goes on his own. Back inside to Chris Johnson. And John Woods pinches the ball for Warrington, and Woods is away on far side. Out to Cullen. Cullen has got Rapati outside him. Finally tackled by Ian Jeffrey. Woods to Crompton. Crompton to Sanderson. Sanderson on to McGinty. But Pinner's up quick on McGinty. And Tony Collier and Mark Knight square up to each other. And the penalty being given against Tony Collier. And Warrington gained their first penalty of the afternoon. David Lyons with the kick for touch. Goes in safely on the halfway line. John Woods restarts the game onto Thursfield. Thursfield to Crompton. Woods runs round. Gives it short to Knights. But Knights well tackled by Andy Collier on the halfway line. Woods to Crompton. Crompton dummies to Sanderson. Beats one man. Good run there from Martin Crompton. Takes play 15 yards inside the Leigh half. John Thursfield attacked in halfback. On to John Woods. To Tony Humphries. Humphries. He's tackled by Cottrell. And it's offside. Offside against John Kerr out over here in the right centre. Clear penalty to Warrington. John Woods indicates to Mr. Haig that he'll go for goal. It's John Woods. Penalty attempt, just goes straight between the posts. So we've played 6 minutes of the first half, and the score is Leigh 0, Warrington 2. With Chris Johnson to restart the game. It's towards the Warrington try line. It's taken safely by Billy McGinty. McGinty to run the ball out now. He's tackled by Andy Collier on the Warrington 25. Thursfield to Tamati. Tamati straightens play up. It's finally tackled by Harry Pinner and by David Ruane. Thursfield to Sanderson. He's tackled by Brian Dunn. Thursfield onto Crompton. Crompton to Woods. Woods misses out McGinty. Out wide to Humphries. Humphries still going, Tony Humphries, but he's finally tackled by Adrian Erner with the help of Andy Collier. John Thursfield dummies and goes on his own from acting half back. Inside to John Woods. Woods now with the break. John Woods. Woods looking for support, but there's nobody there in support with Woods. It's a good ball inside from Thursfield to Woods. Woods has taken play up to the Leigh 25. But a brilliant tackle by John Kerr on Mark Knight. Caught Knight in possession. It'll be a turnover to Leigh. Kerr moved up very quickly and just caught Knight in possession. And Leigh back in possession now. Erner. Webb attacked in half-back to Ruane, but it's offside against John Woods. But just as in last Friday's games, the support there for John Woods as he made that break was really nowhere near in sight. The kick goes for touch. Rapati keeps it in play. And it comes to David Lyon now. David Lyon takes play to just inside the Leigh half. Warrington back in possession. Tamati to Thursfield, on to Sanderson. Sanderson goes back inside. He's tackled by Pinner, by Collier and by Erner. Thursfield to Woods. Woods misses out Crompton to McGinty. McGinty straightens up. He's well tackled by Andy Collier. Paul Cullen attacked in half-back to Kevin Tamati up the blind side. Tamati drives play up to 10 yards inside the league half. It's finally tackled by Brian Dunn and by John Kerr. Crompton onto McGinty. McGinty straightens up. So he's tackled by Collier. By Cottrell. Woods. Woods with the drop goal attempt. Straight between the posts. And John Woods at in half-back. Just calmly stepped to his right. It's the drop goal attempt, went straight between the posts. And we've played 9 minutes of the first half, and the score now is Leigh 0, Warrington 3. So once again, Chris Johnson restarts the game. Again, he puts it towards the Warrington try line. This time it's taken by Mark Foster. Forster runs across field. Foster finally tries to straighten up, but he's tackled by the Leigh half-back pair of Steve Peters and David Ruane. Woods, short ball to Sanderson. Sanderson drives the ball just outside of his own 25. Thursfield to Tamati. Tamati tries to put that short side inside to Paul Cullen. Cullen gets it to Crompton. Crompton on to Sanderson. Sanderson tackled by Webb and Erner. Thursfield to Woods. Woods out to Cullen. Cullen short ball to Humphreys. Humphreys tackled by Collier and by Ruane. Paul Cullen attacked in half-back onto John Woods. John Woods with a kick for this near touchline. It goes straight to Chris Johnson though. Johnson straightens play up, but he's well tackled by Billy McGinty and by John Woods. Carl Webb onto Adrian Erner. Erner drives play up, he's tackled by the second row pairing of Warrington, Gary Sanderson and Mark Knight. Cottrell. Peters attacked in half-back onto Harry Pinner. Pinner back inside to Ruane. Ruane slips the ball away. It's picked up by Brian Dunn. Brian Dunn runs across field. He's well taken by Paul Cullen. Round to Webb. Webb to Erner. Erner stands up in the tackle, gets the ball away now to Round. Comes inside. He's finally tackled by David Lyon. Sixth tackle to Leigh. Goes to Steve Peters, on to Pinner. Pinner straightens up. Pinner tries to get the ball away to David Ruane. Ruane couldn't hold on to the pass, and it's picked up by Martin Crompton for Warrington. Woods to McGinty. McGinty comes back inside, stands up in the tackle, gets it away to Thursfield. On to Woods. Woods out to Cullen. Down to Rapati. Rapati comes back inside. But he's taken by Cottrell and by Webb. Knight to Woods. Woods on to Tamati. Tamati short ball to Sanderson. So he's tackled by Erner and by Dunn. Woods to Crompton. Crompton on to Humphreys. Humphreys goes back inside. So he's tackled by Webb and by Brian Dunn. Thursfield attacked in half-back onto John Woods. Back to David Lyon. Lyon with the kick into the Leigh half. It bounces up kindly for Chris Johnson. Johnson, but he's well tackled by Barry Peters. McCulloch on his own from acting half-back. Again, Peters doing the tackling with the help of Tony Humphreys. Steve Peters into Adrian Erner. So he's tackled by Thursfield, Tamati and Knight. Just 10 yards inside the Leigh half. Webb to Steve Peters, to Pinner. Pinner, short ball to Dunn. Again, the Warrington tackling is sound. Ruane, back to Pinner. Pinner straightens up, gets it to Ruane. On to Webb. Webb gets it away to Kerr now. Kerr Tries to hand off Peters, but it's tackled by Peters and by John Wood. 6 tackle to Leigh. Goes to Ruane. Ruane with a kick for this near touchline, but Foster's back to cover it and takes it safely now. Mark Forster straightens up, tries to go inside Collier, but he's well tackled by Andy Collier. Lyon comes up the blind side from acting halfback. He's tackled by McCulloch. Crompton to Woods. Woods misses out both Knight and Sanderson. On to McGinty. McGinty straightens up. He's tackled by Dunn and by Steve Peters. Sanderson to Woods, on to Tamati. Tamati straightens up, gives it to Knight. He's tackled by Cottrell. Tamati back to Woods. Woods shapes the kick but gives it to Rapati. And Rapati kicks it into touch on the halfway line. There'll be a scrum down. Warrington head, but Leigh to put the ball in. Steve Peters to feed the scrum. It's Mr. Haig not satisfied. So Peters feeds the scrum and comes away with the ball onto Ruane. Short ball to Jeffrey. Jeffrey steps inside, gets it away to Round. He's tackled by David Lyon. Webb to Peters. Peters to Pinner. Pinner misses out Ruane to Brian Dunn. Brian Dunn still going, gets the ball away to Chris Johnson. Johnson well tackled by Barry Peters. McCulloch to Ruane, to Peters, to Pinner. Pinner now to Jeffrey. Jeffrey still going. Jeffrey in a run for the corner, gets it inside to Webb. But Webb's just tackled by David Lyon and by Gary Sanderson. Erner to Peters, to Pinner. Pinner, short ball to Dunn. Dunn still going. Dunn in a run for the line. Brian Dunn scores under the post. Brian Dunn broke through the tackle of Gary Sanderson and Martin Crompton. Kevin Tamati tried in vain to catch him, but Dunn was under the post for the first try of the afternoon. The ball was initially worked left by Leigh. Ian Jeffrey made the break on the left. He managed to pass the ball inside to Carl Webb. Carl Webb was dragged down just by Billy McGinty and by David Lyon, but from the play of the ball came across. It went to Peters, on to Pinner. Pinner gave the short ball to Dunn. Dunn broke through the tackle, went under by the post to give Chris Johnson what should be an easy conversion. Chris Johnson puts the ball safely between the posts, and we've played just 17 minutes of the first half. The score now is Warrington 3, Leigh 6. So John Woods to restart the game. Kicks it deep. It's taken safely by John Kerr. He's tackled comfortably by Billy McGinty. Dunn onto Webb. He's tackled by Sanderson and by Peters. Steve Peters attacked in halfback. Into Adrian Erner. Again, Sanderson and Barry Peters doing the tackling. It goes left to Pinner. Pinner inside to Ruane now. Ruane sidesteps Crompton, but again, Barry Peters brilliantly doing the tackling there. Covering across. Webb switches play to Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson makes a break to just inside the Warrington half. Webb to Ruane. Ruane to Peters. On to Pinner. Pinner, short ball to Cottrell. Cottrell to Kerr. The pass looked forward, but Brian Dunn still going. The pass looked very forward there from Cottrell to John Kerr. It's a 6th tackle to Leigh. Goes to Steve Peters, on to Pinner. Pinner, long ball out to Jeffrey. Jeffrey steps inside Crompton. He's finally tackled by Paul Cullen and by John Wood. And it's the 6th tackle and the turnover to Warrington. Cullen sends it up the blind side to John Thursfield. Sanderson to Crompton. Crompton short ball to Knight. But Knight is driven back by Steve Peters, by Carl Webb and by Andy Collier. Woods to Tamati. But Tamati is well tackled by Steve Peters once again. Harry Pinner and by Brian Dunn. McGinty goes to Woods. On to Humphreys. Humphreys to gain the lead defence, standing up to anything that Warrington can throw at them. Woods comes back to David Lyon. Lyon puts the kick down for this near touchline. McCulloch races back, traps it with his foot and takes it safely. McCulloch dummies to Johnson, but he's well tackled by Mark Foster. Chris Johnson on his own from acting halfback. He's tackled by Foster, by Peters and by Knight. McCulloch on his own from acting halfback. Again, Knight doing the tackling with the help of Billy McGinty. Peters inside to Erner. Peters to Cottrell. Cottrell straightens up, but he's well tackled by Tony Humphreys and by Gary Sanderson. 6th tackle to Leigh. Comes to David Ruane. But his kick goes straight into touch, so it'll be a turnover to Warrington. Midway inside the Leigh half. It'll be John Woods to play the ball. Thursfield onto Tamati. Tamati straightens up. He's tackled by Erner and by Peters. Thursfield to Crompton. Crompton to Woods. Short ball to Knight. He's tackled by Carl Webb. Thursfield to Woods. Woods. Short ball to Humphreys, but Humphreys can't hold on to it. Webb covers and gives it to Johnson. Johnson evades the tackle of Humphreys. Johnson still going. And he's finally brought down by John Thursfield. Kerr to Erner. Erner runs at Peters and McGinty. He's tackled by them with the help of Thursfield. Webb to Peters, to Pinner. Pinner misses out Cottrell to Dunn. Dunn down the middle of the field. He's just caught by John Woods and by Tony Humphreys. Peters to Pinner once again. Pinner gets the ball away to Ruane. Ruane runs across field, sends it back inside to Cottrell. Cottrell, he runs across field, straightens up, stands up in the tackle, gets the ball away to Chris Johnson. Johnson now. He's tackled by the Warrington props, Humphreys and Tamati. Plays it to himself, Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson still going, Johnson still going. Finally brought down by Martin Crompton. Ruane, 6th tackle to Leigh. Steve Peters, short ball to Pinner. Pinner throws out a long ball to McCulloch, goes inside Foster, gets the ball away to Kerr. The ball's still going to Pinner. Pinner to Webb. Webb straightens up. Webb's tackled in possession, so once again it'll be the turnover to Warrington. And at the moment, Leigh are really playing as though their lives depend on it. Woods to McGinty, on to Sanderson. Sanderson breaks one tackle. Finally brought down by Ruane and by Collier. Knight to McGinty. McGinty drives play up. He's finally tackled by Adrian Erner. Cullen to Knight, to Crompton, to Woods, to Humphreys. Slips the ball away to Woods, but he's well tackled by Carl Webb. And there's no let up in the action whatsoever at the moment. Crompton to Tamati. Tamati, long ball to Peters. But Peters is well tackled by McCulloch and by Kerr. Sanderson to Crompton. Crompton with the chip over. Taken by Steve Peters. Play on, says the referee. Peters straightens up, runs at John Woods. He's tackled by Woods with the help of Mark Knight. Carl Webb to Harry Pinner. Pinner, short ball to Collier. Collier's tackled by Thursfield and by McGinty. Chris Johnson at Acton halfback. To Erner. Erner's tackled by Sanderson and by John Thursfield once again. Webb to Peters. Peters on the run around with Pinner. He dummies. He gives it back inside to Cottrell. Cottrell stands up in the tackle. Gets it back to Webb. On to Pinner. Pinner, short ball to Dunn. This time Dunn's tackled by Humphries and Crompton. Ruane. On to Pinner. Pinner steps inside the tackle. Gets it away to Peters. Peters on to Kerr. Kerr inside to McCulloch. McCulloch straightens up. He's tackled by Lyons. Once again the sixth tackle to Leigh. Webb to Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson. Drop goal attempt, but it drops short. And it's picked up by Kevin Tamati. He's tackled by Ian Jeffrey. Really, if Leigh had assessed the situation there, they would have noticed that David Lyon had done the tackling. There was no full back for Warrington. As it was, the drop goal attempt came in there from Chris Johnson. And Thursfield attacked in halfback, hands on to Humphries. Humphries is tackled by Erner and by Peters. Thursfield to Woods, to Knight. Knight straightens up. He's tackled by Cottrell, Peters and by Dunn. Wood to McGinty. McGinty tries the chip over the top and it's charged down and taken by Andy Collier, and the referee waves play on. So Leigh back in possession once again. Ruane to Peters, to Dunn. Dunn straightens up, goes back inside. He's tackled by Knight. Webb out to Pinner. Pinner straightens up, gets it back inside to Carl Webb. Webb gets it away to Ruane. Ruane comes back inside. Before finally being tackled by Tamati. Erner to Peters. Peters out to Kerr. Kerr still going. And he's finally tackled by Cullen and by Thursfield. Jeffrey on his own from Acton halfback. Dummies. And he's tackled by Cullen and by Rapati. Once again, sixth tackle to Leigh. Carl Webb attacked in halfback. It goes to Pinner. Pinner with the chip over the top and following it up, and it's punched dead there by David Lyons as Harry Pinner followed up his own chip there. And really at the moment Leigh have got Warrington under a tremendous amount of pressure as John Woods restarts the game under his own post. Kicks it to Chris Johnson on the halfway line, takes it safely. Johnson still going. He's finally tackled by Barry Peters and by Martin Crompton. John Kerr attacked in halfback onto Steve Peters. Short ball to Erner. Erner's tackled by Tony Humphries just outside the Warrington 25. Peters, short ball to Webb. Webb runs straight at John Thursfield. He's tackled by him with the help of Kevin Tamati. Peters to Pinner. Pinner back inside to Cottrell. Cottrell stands up in the tackle, gets it away to Pinner. Pinner comes back the other way, gets the ball away to Peters. Peters chips it through. But it's taken by David Lyons safely. And Steve Peters follows up his own kick and does the tackling. John Woods onto John Thursfield. But he's tackled by John Kerr. Sanderson on his own from Acton halfback. He's tackled by Steve Peters and by Carl Webb. John Thursfield onto Tony Humphries. And Leigh at the moment keeping Warrington pinned deep inside their own 25. John Woods onto Tamati, but Tamati's well tackled by Collier and by Pinner. And Warrington are going nowhere at the moment. McGinty on his own from Acton halfback. Again, the lead tackling strong, and it's the sixth tackle to Warrington. Tamati back to Lyons. Lyons puts the kick towards this near touchline. It bounces once, twice. Taken on the third bounce by McCulloch, just inside his own half. He runs across field, straightens up, takes play back into the Warrington half of the field. Chris Johnson. Johnson onto Round. He's tackled by McGinty. Round plays the ball to himself. Round still going, steps outside Cullen, still going. Mike Round. Jeffrey to Kerr. to Peters, to Pinner. Pinner, short ball to Dunn. Dunn straightens up, Dunn still going. Finally tackled by John Woods. And all the play at the moment coming from Leigh, as Warrington are having to defend desperately. Pinner goes across field. Short ball to Peters. Peters with just a full back to beat. See, Peters goes round David Lyon, puts the ball down for the try. The Warrington defence really just stood off Harry Pinner. They stood up, watched Pinner stand there with the ball. Pinner had time to weigh up his options. He put Steve Peters through the gap. Peters just had the full back to beat. He decided to try and take David Lyon on. He went first to the right, sidestepped back the other way and ran round David Lyons to score to just to the left of the post. And that try really has come from a tremendous amount of pressure that Leigh have applied in the past 10 minutes. Warrington have had nothing else to do but defend. And it really looked as though just a matter of time before Leigh broke the Warrington defence and scored once again. And Chris Johnson with the conversion attempt. Puts it safely between the posts, and we're right on the half hour of the first half. And the score now is Leigh 12, Warrington 3. And it's John Woods who will restart the game. Again, he puts the ball deep. And it's taken safely by Chris Johnson. Johnson now straightens up. And he's finally tackled by John Thursfield. Webb onto Erner. Erner straightens up. Again, Thursfield doing the tackling, this time with the help of Mark Knight and Gary Sanderson. Webb. Done Mr. Peters, gives it the other way to Cottrell. Cottrell comes back again, tries to get the ball away to Adrian Erner, who loses the ball, and it's taken by John Thursfield. Woods to McGinty, to Crompton. Crompton comes back inside. So he's well tackled by Harry Pinner and by Carl Webb. McGinty, dummies, tries to go on his own from acting halfback. Makes about 5 yards before being tackled by Brian Dunn. Crompton to Woods. Woods short ball to Knight. Knight's tackled by Peters and by Erner. Woods runs around Sanderson. Short ball to Humphreys. Woods, he's well tackled by Andy Collier, and it's the sixth tackle to Warrington. Humphreys plays the ball to himself. Thursfield onto Crompton. Tamati straightens up. Tamati still going. It's tackled by Peters and by Dunn. It's the sixth tackle and the turnover to Leigh. And Warrington at the moment just seeming to be totally devoid of ideas in attack when they have the ball in possession. Pinner, dummies, straightens up. He's tackled by Sanderson and by Humphreys. Peters switches play to Collier. He's well tackled by Gary Sanderson. Again, Peters attacked in halfback. Onto Erner. Erner straightens up. Again, Sanderson doing the tackling, this time with the help of Thursfield. Peters, short ball to Cottrell. Cottrell straightens up. Again, Sanderson doing the tackling. Webb gives it to Pinner. Pinner to Ruane. Ruane, short ball to Jeffrey. And it's picked up by Tamati. Tamati gets the ball away to Rapati. But he's tackled by Jeffrey. McGinty again goes on his own from acting halfback. Takes play to just inside the Leigh half. Thursfield to Crompton. Crompton onto Woods. Woods misses out Humphreys onto Knight. But the Leigh cover is up very quickly. Knight was well tackled by Collier and by Kerr. Woods to Sanderson. Sanderson really had no room in which to move then. Woods runs around with Crompton. kicks the ball out to Cullen. Cullen out to Rapati now. Rapati with some room in which to run, but he's well covered by Jeffrey and by Round. Cullen to Woods. Woods with the kick. It's taken safely by Chris Johnson. Johnson runs round Foster, gets the ball out to McCulloch. McCulloch dummies to Kerr, comes inside. McCulloch still going now. McCulloch slips just before he comes to the full back, but a good break there from Neil McCulloch. It's John Kerr now, long ball to Pinner. Pinner onto Dunn. Dunn straightens up now. Dunn still going, gets the ball onto Webb. But Webb's tackled by McGinty and play's been taken to inside the Warrington 25. Peters to Ruane, to Pinner. Pinner inside to Cottrell. Cottrell back to Pinner. Pinner runs across field, short ball to Dunn. Dunn gets it out to Round. Round back inside to Jeffrey. Jeffrey going for the line. He's just tackled by David Lyon and by Paul Cullen. Again, Warrington, desperate defence. Peters up the short side to Chris Johnson. He's well tackled by Billy McGinty. Johnson plays it to himself and goes over at on the short side there. Some appalling cover there from the Warrington defence. Johnson was tackled, he stood up, he played the ball to himself and crashed over in the far corner. And Warrington at the moment just have no answer to these Leigh attacks. And Leigh at the moment just seemed to carve open the Warrington defence at will. So Chris Johnson now attempting to convert his own try. It's the most difficult of his 3 kicks so far. And it hits the post and just bounces out onto the far side. So we've played 35 minutes of the first half now. The score is Warrington 3, Leigh 16, Warrington 3. And Warrington just don't seem to have any idea at the moment of, firstly, how to cope with the Leigh attacks, but secondly, what to do when they have the ball themselves. Woods, again, kicks the ball deep. McCulloch traps it with his foot, picks it up safely, runs across field, finally straightens up before being tackled by Thursfield and by Sanderson. Kerr goes on his own from acting halfback. John Kerr, another ex-Warrington player. To Carl Webb. Carl Webb hands it on to Erner. Erner takes play to just outside his 25 before being tackled by Billy McGinty. Peters switches it to Brian Dunn. Brian Dunn straightens up, tries to get the ball away to Ruane, went backwards, saves the referee, on to Chris Johnson. Johnson's finally tackled by Barry Peters. Steve Peters on to Adrian Erner. Erner drives play up before being tackled by Sanderson by Knight. 6 tackle to Leigh. Webb goes on his own from acting halfback. Puts the kick in over the top and follows his own kick. It's taken by Mark Foster. Foster runs round Webb, straightens up. Foster still going. Foster still going. Foster straightens up now. It's finally tackled by Ian Jeffrey. Just 10 yards inside the Leigh half. Cullen up the blind side to Tamati. Tamati inside to Rapati. But he's well tackled by Cottrell, by Round and by Jeffrey. Thursfield onto Crompton. Crompton misses out Humphreys to Woods. Woods onto Knight. Knight straightens up. He's tackled by Webb, by Ruane and by Collier. McGinty. Thursfield attacked in half-back onto Crompton. Crompton to Humphreys. Humphreys takes play up. He's tackled by the 2 Leigh props, Tony Cottrell and Adrian Erner. And it's the 6th tackle to Warrington. It comes back to John Woods. Woods puts in the up and under. It's taken safely by John Kerr. Well taken by Johnny Kerr. The pressure from Billy McGinty. Chris Johnson dummies and goes on his own from acting halfback. Peters to Pinner. Pinner onto Dunn. Dunn through the gap. Straightens up. Still going. Brian Dunn onto David Ruane. So he's finally tackled there by David Lyons. Peters out to Pinner. Pinner comes back the other way. Still going. Harry Pinner switches it once again to Cottrell. Cottrell runs across field. Finally straightens up. He's finally tackled by Sanderson, Lyons and Crompton. As we come up to the final minute of the first half, Peters dummies, gets it back inside to Brian Dunn. So he's tackled by Gary Sanderson. 6 tackle to Leigh. Comes back to Johnny Kerr. Kerr chips it over the top as it's taken safely by David Lyon. Hands on to Joe Rapati now. Rapati down that right wing. Rapati still going. Finally brought down by John Kerr. And the referee decides it's a penalty against Johnny Kerr for knocking the ball out of Joe Rapati's arms. So Warrington, with what could be their last chance to get further points on the board in this first half. David Lyons puts the ball safely into touch. Midway inside the Leigh half. Comes out to John Thursfield. Gives it to John Woods. Woods runs around both Thursfield and Crompton. Hands on to Knight. Knight looking to slip the ball away, but there's no one in support. Woods to McGinty. McGinty out to Cullen. Cullen to Peters. But Peters is well taken by McCulloch. And there goes a half-time hooter at the end of what's been an excellent half there for Leigh. Leigh really looking like the team who want to collect the points today. They are struggling at the bottom of the first division. They look as though they need the points. They've gone out. They've set out their own intentions in the first half. They look very sharp in attack. They look very solid in defence. Warrington are lacking really ideas at the moment on how to break down this strong defensively. So as the two teams go in at half-time, the score is Leigh 16, Warrington 3. So as the two teams come back out for the second half, Leigh are unchanged after the interval, but Warrington have made 2 substitutions. Neil Harmon has come on for Mark Knight, and Robert Turner has come on for David Lyons.
Number 1, David Lyons is replaced by Robert Turner, number 14, and number 12, Mark Knight, is replaced by 15, Neil Hanson.
So it's Chris Johnson to restart the second half. Kicks the ball deep. It goes to Joe Rapati, who takes it safely. Rapati comes straight from his own try line. He's finally tackled by Adrian Erner and by Ian Jeffrey. Thursfield onto Tamati. So Warrington in a position similar to the one last week at Salford, where 2 half-time substitutions made all the difference when they were getting beat at half-time against Salford. Are we going to see the same today? Woods, dummies, straightens up. It's finally tackled by Carl Webb. McGinty to Harmon, back to Turner. Turner with the kick for that far touchline. It's taken by McCulloch. He runs straight, but he's comfortably tackled by Foster and by Peters. Kerr runs across field from acting halfback. He's tackled on the halfway line by Tony Humphreys. Carl Webb to Steve Peters. To Erner. Erner runs straight, takes play to just inside the Warrington half of the field. Webb to Peters. Peters runs around Pinner. Pinner dummies, gets it to Cottrell. Cottrell back inside to Ruane. But Ruane's tackled by Sanderson. Just inside his own half. Cottrell to Pinner. Pinner with a kick for this near touchline. Bounces up for Rocky Turner. Turner takes the ball safely. He's tackled by Brian Dunn and by Harry Pinner. Thursfield. He's tackled by Jeffrey. And Gary Sanderson goes into acting halfback. Out to Woods. Woods misses out Harmon to McGinty, but McGinty knocks on. Not a good pass there from John Woods. It's more to Billy McGinty's feet than to anywhere else. So it'll be a scrum down in front of the Warrington post. Steve Peters feeds the ball. Comes straight out, says Mr. Haig. Again, Peters to put the ball into the scrum. And Leigh win the ball, so have their first possession of the second half. Kerr runs across field. Tries to get the ball away to Pinner, but Pinner can't hold the pass. And Billy McGinty takes it safely. Comes to Tony Humphries. Humphries is tackled by Jeffrey and by Carl Webb. Sanderson. So he's tackled by Cottrell. John Thursfield attacked in half-back, onto Crompton. Crompton to Harmon. Harmon with his first touch of the afternoon. Drives play just outside his own 25. Tamati switches play to Turner. Turner with the kick for that far touch line. But McCulloch is covering and takes it safely. Dummies to Johnson. And takes play to just inside the Warrington half of the field before finally being tackled by Rocky Turner. Chris Johnson from Acton half-back. Looks as though he's going to kick it. Webb to Peters. Peters to Collier. Collier. He's tackled by Harmon and by Humphries. Webb to Peters. Peters to Pinner. Pinner. Dummies to Ruane. Goes back the other way. It's finally tackled by Tamati and by McGinty. And Tamati pinches the ball and play on, says the referee. It comes to Thursfield. Thursfield takes play to 10 yards inside the league half before being tackled by Brian Dunn. Cullen out to Woods. Woods on to Crompton. Crompton to McGinty. McGinty runs across field, floats the pass out to Foster. Foster takes it safely, but he's collared by Collier, but manages to get the ball away to Peters. Peters on to Cullen. Cullen to Woods. Woods goes back the other way. Woods still going. He's finally tackled by Neil McCulloch. Foster to Crompton. Crompton, dummies. Steps back inside, but he's tackled by Tony Cottrell. Woods to Tamati. Tamati to Thursfield. Thursfield, dummies. He's finally tackled by Steve Peters and by Brian Dunn. Sanderson to Tamati. Tamati to Cullen. Cullen. Ooh, almost an interception there from Mike Round. As Cullen tried to get the ball away to Rapati. Almost an interception there by Mike Round. But he just couldn't hold on to the ball. So it's a scrum down and Martin Crompton will feed the scrum. So Crompton feeds the scrum and comes up with the ball. It gets it to Woods. Woods runs around Cullen. Cullen dummies and goes on his own. Paul Cullen still going. Finally tackled by Ian Jeffrey. Woods on to Crompton. Crompton gets it away to McGinty, but McGinty can't hold on to the pass. And I think that's where a lot of Warrington's problems lie this afternoon, in that they're not lying deep enough to take the pass. As was the case though with Billy McGinty, just wasn't lying quite deep enough. Struggled to take the pass. So Peters to feed the scrum. Feeding, says the referee. So it's a penalty to Warrington. John Woods calls up Rocky Turner to put the ball into touch. And she does safely. So Warrington ready to put on their first real attack for quite some time now. Thursfield taps it to Foster. Foster straightens up. Is tackled by Erner and by Cottrell.
Offside.
Tamati drives for the line. Tamati still going. Thursfield onto Humphreys. Humphreys drives to the line, but he's tackled by Pinner, by Collier, by Webb, by Brian Dunn. John Thursfield on his own from acting halfback. Thursfield goes for the line. Tamati onto Crompton. Crompton to Woods. Woods to Peters. Peters straightens up. Peters tries to get the ball away, but it's taken by David Ruane. And a good attacking position lost there for Warrington. Webb to Erner. Erner straightens up. Finally tackled by the two Warrington props, Tamati and Humphreys. Webb to Johnson. Johnson to Pinner. Pinner to Collier. To Cottrell. Cottrell comes back the other way. Gets it back to Chris Johnson. Leigh living somewhat dangerously. Webb onto Collier. Collier still going, makes good ground there, Andy Collier, before finally being brought down by Mark Foster and Barry Peters. Webb to Dunn. Dunn running from deep. Takes play up to the 25-yard line. 6 tackle to Leigh. Webb back to Johnson. Johnson sidestep inside Foster. Gets it back to Collier. Collier manages to get the kick in. It bounces up for Rocky Turner. Turner now. He's well tackled by David Ruane. 10 yards inside the Leigh half of the field. Comes to Harmon. Harmon straightens up. It's tackled by Tony Cottrell. Tamati to Woods. Woods to McGinty. McGinty straightens up. Finally tackled by Pinner and by Steve Peters. Barry Peters onto John Woods, to Martin Crompton. Crompton into the gap, sidestepped. Gets the ball away to Tamati. Gets the ball onto Neil Harmon. That's better backing up there from Warrington. Sanderson to Woods. Woods misses out Thursfield onto Barry Peters. Peters dummies, goes back inside. Tackled by his brother Steve. 6th tackle to Warrington. Thursfield back to John Woods. Woods with the chip over the top. It's taken by Johnson, but it's going to be a penalty for tackling John Woods after he kicked the ball. Mr. Haig stops the clock as John Woods receives attention. Mr. Hay calls out Adrian Erner. Mr. Hay giving the Leigh prop a stern lecture. It allows him to stay on the field. John Woods gets up none the worse for his ordeal. And elects to go for goal. John Woods puts the ball safely between the posts, so we've played 11 minutes of the second half, and the score now is Leigh 16, Warrington 5. But Warrington must really be looking to score tries rather than going up there and just getting penalty goals. Because the longer the game goes on without them really threatening to score a try, the more confident Leigh are going to be of clinching the points from today's game. So Chris Johnson restarts the game. Puts the ball along the ground. Kevin Tamati takes it at the second attempt, runs across field. She's tackled by Cottrell and by Collier. Thursfield to Crompton. Crompton, short ball to Harmon. Harmon straightens up. She's tackled by Steve Peters and by Andy Collier. John Woods now. Goes back inside. She's well tackled by Tony Cottrell. Thursfield to Sanderson. Sanderson to McGinty. McGinty, dummies. It's comfortably tackled by Erner and by Brian Dunn. Thursfield attacked in half-back. On to Crompton. Crompton to Woods. Woods, short ball to Humphreys. Woods Humphreys is tackled by Andy Collier. And Warrington are really going nowhere at the moment. It comes to John Woods. Out to McGinty. McGinty on to Rapati. Rapati comes inside. He's tackled by Jeffrey. And Warrington have really not made very much ground in their 6 tackles. And it's charged down there and kicked on by Jeffrey. But Tony Humphreys does well to recover there and fall on the ball. And it's 6 more tackles to Warrington. Turner goes on his own from acting half-back. He's tackled by Ian Jeffrey. Woods to McGinty. Long ball out to Cullen. Cullen takes it well. But he's tackled by McCulloch and by David Ruane. Tamati. Dummies to Foster and straightens up. Finally tackled by McCulloch and by Ruane again. Thursfield to Crompton. Crompton, long ball out to Woods. Woods throws the ball out rather wildly, but it's picked up by Rapati. On to Barry Peters, but he's well tackled by Mike Round and by Andy Collier. It comes to Billy McGinty. Again, Round doing the tackling. 6th tackle once again to Warrington. Sanderson comes back to Rocky Turner. Turner puts the ball down to the halfway line. It's taken safely by Chris Johnson. Johnson straightens up. He's tackled by Cullen and by John Woods. Ruane on to Steve Peters. Steve Peters straightens up. He's tackled by McGinty and by Thursfield. Leigh in possession, midway inside the Warrington half. Erner. Tackled by Sanderson and by Thursfield. Webb to Peters. Peters runs around Pinner. Pinner dummies. Sit back inside to Cottrell. But he's well tackled by Sanderson and by McGinty. Webb to Peters. Peters switches play to Pinner. Pinner with the kick for touch, which is successful. Could be a scrum down just on the Warrington 25-yard line. Leigh will have the head, but it'll be Martin Crompton to feed the scrum. Crompton to put the ball in. Warrington have the ball. Through Martin Crompton, plays it to McGinty, to Woods, to Turner. Turner goes across field, tries to straighten up. He's tackled by Ruane and by Brian Dunn. Woods to Sanderson. Sanderson makes good ground, taking play out of his own 25-yard line. Peters to Woods. Woods, short ball to Harmon. And he's well tackled by Brian Dunn. Thursfield switches play to Woods. Woods out to Tamati. Tamati, long ball to Foster, but the ball goes straight into touch. I don't think Mark Foster was quite expecting that long ball there from Kevin Tamati. We are scrum down midway inside the Warrington half. This time Leigh having both the put-in and the head. Steve Peters to feed the scrum. Leigh have possession, but it's offside against Barry Peters. Chris Johnson asking Mr. Hay, can he kick for goal, but there being a scrum offence, it's not able to, so he'll put the ball into touch. And that's a good kick, just 5 yards now from the Warrington try line. Leigh once again applying the pressure. Carl Webb to restart the game. Webb taps it onto Erner. Erner drives play up. He's stopped by Humphreys and by Thursfield. Webb to Peters. Peters misses out Collier to Pinner. Pinner misses out Cottrell to Dunn. But Dunn's well tackled by Cullen and by Woods. Cottrell goes on the blind, throws a long ball out to Johnson. Johnson inside to Jeffrey. Jeffrey tries to sidestep round John Woods. He's just held on John Woods and finally got assistance from Neil Harmon. Peters to Webb. Webb to Pinner. Pinner still going. Harry Pinner on to John Kerr. John Kerr for the line. John Kerr scores a try. Warrington will complain that there was an obstruction there as Harry Pinner got the ball from Carl Webb. Pinner appeared to go behind it. At least 3 Leigh players. The referee waved play on. Harry Pinner carried on. He got the ball out to John Kerr. Kerr went through the gap. He was half tackled by one of the Warrington players, but Kerr managed to get the ball over just to the right of the post, giving Chris Johnson what should be an easy conversion. And Warrington are in deeper trouble now. Chris Johnson with the conversion attempt, puts it safely between the posts.
Conversion again, number 1.
And we've played 19 minutes of the second half. And the score now is Leigh 22, Warrington 5. And Warrington are about to make another substitution. Mark Knight coming back onto the field for Gary Sanderson.
We have a substitution on the Warrington side. Number 12, Mark Knight, replaces number 11, Gary Sanderson.
John Woods restarts the game once again. Puts it deep towards the Leigh try line. It's taken by Mike Round. Round straightens up. Round makes the half break. Mike Round still going. Finally brought down by Paul Cullen. Just tried to beat one man too many. Peters onto Erner. Erner done a lot of hard work today. Carl Webb onto Collier. Collier drives play up before being tackled by Neil Harmon. Webb. Again onto Adrian Erner. Goes to Chris Johnson, then on to David Ruane. It's half charged down there by Tony Humphreys and picked up by Joe Rapati. So Warrington now with a quick chance to reply to that latest Leigh try. Thursfield on the run around with Crompton. Thursfield gets the ball back. He's easily tackled by Brian Dunn and Harry Pinner. McGinty to Crompton. Crompton to Woods. Woods goes across field, hands on to Neil Harmon. He's tackled by Collier and by David Ruane. John Woods attacked in half-back, onto Kevin Tamati. Tamati manages to get the ball away to Mark Foster. Foster runs across field. He's tackled by Harry Pinner and by Tony Cottrell. The ball goes loose and Leigh are back in possession in the shape of Carl Webb. Webb straightens up. Webb still going. A good clearing run there by Carl Webb. Kerr to Peters. And offside against Paul Cullen. Chris Johnson, the kick to touch. And that's another good kick from Chris Johnson, putting Warrington under pressure once again. Leigh trying to hammer the final nail into Warrington's coffin now. Carl Webb. Tackled by Cullen and by Humphreys. Peters to Erner. Erner drives play up again. Cullen and Humphreys doing the tackling and driving Erner back. Webb attacked in half-back. Collier runs across field, then straightens up. Tackled by McGinty and by Harmon. Webb to Pinner. Pinner switches play to Cottrell. Cottrell on to Dunn. Dunn gets the ball away to Jeffrey, but a forward pass saves Mr. Haig. Mr. Haig was right in line there as Brian Dunn attempted to get the ball away to Ian Jeffrey. So it'll be a scrum down with Martin Crompton to feed the scrum. And Crompton comes away with the ball, but he's tackled by Harry Pinner. Thursfield out to Cullen. Cullen. He's tackled by Jeffrey and by Mike Round. Knight to Thursfield. On to Tamati. To Rapati. Rapati almost losing the ball in the tackle there. Plays the ball to Thursfield. On to John Woods. To Billy McGinty. McGinty. Dummy. But manages to get the ball away to John Woods. John Woods now straightens up, but he's tackled by Johnny Kerr, by Neil McCulloch and by Tony Cottrell. And the touch judge on the far side comes on. And it's going to be a penalty against John Woods. Kicking out in the tackle. As Leigh try and make a substitution, number 15 Mark Cooper will be coming on for Adrian Erner. As soon as
number 8 Adrian Erner is replaced by number 15 Mark Cooper.
As Chris Johnson will attempt to kick the goal from that penalty conceded by John Woods. So Chris Johnson trying to stretch the Leigh lead even further. It pulls it to the left of the post. So it'll be Warrington to restart the game from their own 25-yard line. Through John Woods. Woods puts the ball deep. Neil McCulloch will race back and take it safely. Straightens up, takes play to just inside the Warrington half of the field. Carl Webb onto Mark Cooper. His first touch of the afternoon. Webb again attacked in half-back. On to Steve Peters, to Harry Pinner. Pinner attempts to kick for this near touchline, but the ball goes straight into touch. It'll be a scrum down just inside the Leigh half. Martin Crompton to feed the scrum. The score with just under a quarter of an hour to go is still Leigh 22, Warrington 5. As the ball comes away to Paul Cullen, straightens up, Cullen still going. It's finally tackled by Harry Pinner. Crompton goes on his own, steps inside Cooper, gets the ball away to Thursfield. Thursfield, long ball to Knight. He's tackled by Jeffrey and by Round. Thursfield runs around Tamati, gets the ball back, but once again there's nobody running outside. John Thursfield looking to take the pass off him. Tamati to Woods, misses out Harmon, misses out everyone as it turns out, but it's finally picked up by Mark Foster. Foster now straightens up, Foster still going, finally tackled by Pinner and Dunn. Thursfield switches play to Crompton. Crompton back inside to Woods, but Woods loses the ball. Neil McCulloch trying to pick the ball up, so he couldn't manage it, so it'll be a scrum down. Warrington's head and ball. And it's a penalty against Leigh. For not forming the scrum. Woods taps it onto McGinty. McGinty to Cullen. Cullen's easily tackled by Ruane. McGinty goes on his own from acting half-back, straightens up. And tries to get the ball away to Crompton, but it's taken by Carl Webb. Webb straightens up. Tackled by Cullen. Peters to Cottrell. Cottrell still going. Cottrell still going. The referee blows his whistle for a penalty against Tony Humphreys. Penalty for thumping in the tackle there against Tony Humphreys. Once again, Chris Johnson to put the ball into touch. Again, another good kick there from Johnson. Carl Webb restarts the game once again. To Peters. Peters misses out Collier to Pinner. Pinner misses out Cooper to Dunn, running out wide. Dunn straightens up. It's tackled by Rapati and by John Woods. Ruane to Pinner. Pinner, long ball out to Jeffrey. Jeffrey with the chip through for round to chase, but the ball just beats him into touch. So scrum down. Martin Crompton will put the ball into the scrum, and again he's in possession. It's a penalty against Ian Jeffrey for being offside at the scrum. Crompton taps the ball quickly on to Paul Cullen. Cullen still going inside to Foster. Foster straightens up. So he's well tackled by Steve Peters and by Neil McCulloch. Peters to Crompton. Crompton to Woods. Woods to McGinty. McGinty short ball to Rapati. So he's well tackled by Brian Dunn and by Tony Cottrell. Woods onto Harmon. Harmon. He's tackled by Webb and by Cottrell. To Matty. To Crompton. To Rapati. Rapati comes back this way. So he's well tackled by Webb and by Cooper. As we come to the last 10 minutes of this game, the score still Leigh 22, Warrington 5. The ball gets out to Peters on that far side, but he's well tackled by Neil McCulloch. 6 tackle to Warrington. Goes back to Rocky Turner. Turner puts the ball deep into the Leigh half. It's taken safely by Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson straightens up. Johnson dummies. Johnson still going. Finally tackled by John Thursfield. Plays the ball on to Mike Round. Round goes on his own from acting halfback. Johnson to Peters. Peters misses out Cottrell to Pinner. Pinner stops, comes back this way. Harry Pinner still going. Finally tackled by Tony Humphreys. Peters to Ruane. Ruane straightens up. Tries to get the ball away to Cooper, but it's picked up by Martin Crompton. Crompton's tackled just on the halfway line by John Kerr. Woods to Tamati. But offside against Harry Pinner.
Is the Leigh number 11, Brian Dunn.
Oh, it's a penalty to Warrington. Rocky Turner will attempt to put the ball into touch. which he does safely. And John Thursfield will restart the game. Thursfield misses out Knight onto Tamati. Tamati, he's tackled by Cottle and by Peters. Thursfield to Humphreys. Humphreys. He's tackled by Carl Webb. Thursfield to Woods to Crompton. Crompton steps back inside. Martin Crompton makes a break. Crompton inside to McGinty. He's tackled by Steve Peters. Rapati to Woods, inside to Harmon. Harmon is well tackled by Cooper, by Collier and by Peters. Warrington looking for their first try of the afternoon. It comes to John Woods, short ball to Humphreys. Humphreys is tackled by Cooper. Again, 6 tackle to Warrington. Thursfield, wild pass out to Crompton. Crompton knocks on, so that should be the turnover to Leigh. And it's a penalty against Martin Crompton. Chris Johnson will attempt to put the ball into touch, which he does safely. Webb to Peters. Peters misses out Cooper to Pinner, misses out Dunn to Collier. Collier's tackled by Woods and by McGinty. Ruane to Pinner. Pinner, the attempted kick for this touchline. Mark Knight just manages to keep the ball in play. Hands it on to Turner, but Turner's well tackled by Round and by Jeffrey. Knight. He's tackled by Cooper and by Jeffrey. Thursfield to Crompton, to Woods. Woods to Harmon. Harmon. He's comfortably tackled by Andy Collier. Woods to McGinty. McGinty, long ball to Cullen. But Cullen's well tackled by Kerr. Foster to Tamati. Tamati inside to Foster now. Foster in some space. Foster still going. Foster now in a run for the line. Mark Foster. But he loses the ball in the tackle and it's picked up by Mike Round. Chris Johnson made the tackle. Mark Foster lost the ball. It comes to Steve Peters. Peters on to Ruane. Ruane straightens up. He's tackled by Harmon and by Foster. Webb out to Pinner. Pinner, dummies, goes back inside. Pinner slowing the game down now. He knows there's not long to go. Just 5 minutes to the final whistle. And Leigh looking comfortable winners here this afternoon. Webb goes back to Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson with the kick for that far touchline. The ball just bounces away, it goes into the in-goal area. Turner manages to run the ball out of his in-goal area, but he's tackled into touch there by John Kerr. Would be a scrum down 5 yards from the Warrington try line. Leigh having the head and the put in. Peters puts the ball in, gets it out to Ruane. Ruane straightens up. Ruane for the line. David Ruane scores under the post. Walked through some poor tackling there from Warrington. And really that's the icing on the cake for Leigh this afternoon. Came from the kick for touch there by Chris Johnson. The ball bounced into the Warrington in-goal area. Rocky Turner managed to clear his try line, but was tackled into touch. From the scrum, Leigh won the scrum. Peters handed on to Ruane stepped back inside, he broke through the tackle of John Woods, through the tackle of Rocky Turner and scored under the post for another easy conversion for Chris Johnson. And with just 3 minutes of the second half remaining, the score moves on to Leigh 28, Warrington 5. And John Woods starts the game again. Be taken by Neil McCulloch. McCulloch is tackled by Barry Peters. Kerr from Acton halfback straightens up. He's taken by Thursfield and by Peters once again. Comes back to Chris Johnson. Johnson with the kick once again for that far touchline. This time the ball does go into touch. And really, Leigh can do no wrong this afternoon. Crompton puts the ball into the scrum and takes it. It goes on to Woods. Woods straightens up. It's tackled by Peters and Ruane, the Leigh halfbacks. Crompton out to McGinty. McGinty on to Peters. Tries to straighten up, but well taken there by John Kerr. Cullen to Harmon up the blind side. Harmon. It's tackled by Brian Dunn. Cullen to Crompton to Woods. Woods on to Rapati. Rapati running out wide. Rapati out to Foster. Foster. Foster finally tackled by Steve Peters. As we enter the last minute of today's game, Barry Peters goes on his own from Acton halfback. He's tackled by Mark Cooper. 6 tackle to Warrington. Tamati to Woods. Woods to Crompton. Crompton inside to Rapati. Rapati with the kick through. It's taken safely by Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson dummies the kick. Gives it to McCulloch and McCulloch slips into touch. We scrum down with Warrington getting the advantage of both the head and the put-in. Martin Crompton to put the ball into the scrum. McGinty picks it up from the base of the scrum, goes on his own. He's tackled by Collier and by Peters. Harmon onto Woods. Woods dummies. It's tackled by Chris Johnson. The Leigh defence still holding firm. Crompton on his own from Acton halfback. Once again, there's no way through. Woods to McGinty. McGinty out wide to Tamati. Tamati dummies, goes on his own. He's well tackled by Carl Webb and by Mark Cooper. Humphreys to McGinty. McGinty to Peters, to Woods, to Rapati. And there goes the final hooter. This afternoon's game, Leigh getting 2 very well deserved points this afternoon in the fight for relegation. Warrington looking devoid of ideas both in defence and in attack, and with just 1 game to go left now, appear to have lost all chance of making the top 4. Just getting a home draw in the first round of the Premiership. Leigh spirits will be really raised after today's game, and the fight for relegation goes on. So I'm sure they'll be heartened by the 2 points from this afternoon. The final score this afternoon, Leigh 28, Warrington 5.